First is Jordan Poole, the very newly elected director of the Paradise Garden Foundation. We'll cue up Jordan here. All right, how do we go to full screen?
Full screen.
All right, I'm going to turn it over to Jordan.
The mute, I just want to, because there is a sound and stuff.
All right.
Just want to make sure I muted it, because there is a video that is also.
Okay, is it muted? Yep, all right.
I think
Hey, everybody. Okay, so I'm going to ask you, who has actually been to Paradise Garden? Because I know there's got to be people in the class. I know that, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you all for spending money in my hometown, because you had to buy gas. I'm just going to bring that up. So I want to actually just bring everyone to the discussion a little bit about Paradise Garden in Summerville, Georgia, and about Howard Finister. I just want to start off to bring everybody up to speed, because you've been introduced a little bit to Howard. And this is exactly what we're trying to bring to our local community and people throughout the country, is of the popularity of Howard Finister and what our foundation is trying to do and create in Chattooga County. Howard Finister was a little man who had a vision. He was a Baptist preacher, a bicycle repairman, and ironically actually repaired my mother's bicycle, just to say of other things. He became internationally known as the Warhol of the South and is the grandfather of Southern folk art. And today there are exhibits of his work traveling the United States. His legacy and his body's work is basically known as Paradise Gardens in Chattooga County. And of course, he created probably 47,000 paintings, not to mention the works that have been reproduced in prints and so forth, and the wonderful accolades of galleries that have his work. He used everyday tractor paint from Shamlin's Hardware, where I used to, as a kid, shop myself, and used elements and cast-off objects throughout our small little town and county. Because of Howard's unusual medium of expression, many people have been drawn to become artists themselves. In fact, I was actually at an art exhibit this past Saturday and had 2 artists say that they were inspired to go into professional art just because of their visits to Paradise Garden. So Howard's art form has really been wonderful for representation of Chattooga County. And so one of the things that we have worked with is that we want to preserve not just the legacy of Howard Finister, but to really work to build the artistic community that is there. He hoped that his gardens would inspire creativity and build a whole new breed of artists. So one of the things that our foundation is working to do is to carry the legacy, and we have joined with Chattooga County as a government entity to do one thing as a baseline, and this actually happened December 15th, whereas Chattooga County purchased Paradise Gardens, creating an ultimate protection for the gardens to be owned by a government entity. And this was actually achieved without using any of the county-allotted funds. There's no taxpayer money from Chattooga County itself went to the purchase. There was a grant from the Appalachian Regional Commission as well as local funds that were raised. And actually, I know there are some people in this audience who did also give towards this wonderful project. And out of that, we have created the Paradise Garden Foundation as a local entity with me, myself, working on the restoration of the gardens. So I'll tell you a little bit more about what we have done and what our emphasis is. And the main goal of our organization really is to utilize the restoration and to have the heritage tourism destination of Paradise Gardens contribute back for sustainable heritage tourism in the county. As such, we want to foster economic development. So I'm just going to put this on as a background and just say a little bit more. But this is actually, this video here was by Black Hawk. and was filmed at the Garden. And it really shows probably one of the best portrayals, I think, of Howard in the Garden itself. But I just wanted to tell everybody that with just this project beginning in December 15th and we having the ownership and the creation of our foundation, we've already had one art gallery open up in Chattooga County in a vacant building, as well as a tremendous amount of press that has just come about for adding a validity. But of our goals, really we want to be able to continue to have this garden used and visited by people who would like to be inspired of this work. So really just wanted to do that introduction and say that we have, as an element of this, have the architectural firm of Lord Eck & Sargent, along with the Yeager Company, a landscape architecture firm, and also the National Trust for Historic Preservation with Heritage Tourism, giving a site management plan that we hope to use as we work to restore and to utilize this site so it can be a place for heritage tourism and can help build a sustainable economy. Chattooga County is the most economically depressed county in Appalachian, Georgia. It also has one of the highest rates of unemployment in the state itself. So it has been something that we've all looked to as we do not need another industry to come into the local area, but we want to find a way to bring new life, new blood, and new energy. And so we hope that this restoration attempt will be a site case to show how these cultural sites, these cultural landscapes, can be an element for economic stability in the community with heritage tourism. Okay. Any questions? I'm going to turn it over to Jack, who will talk more about the actual site itself.